always felt like Naruto Shippuden started off with one of the greatest fights in the series. Not more so in physical power and strength, but more so entertainment. I always feel like Deidara versus Gaara was such a cool fight. It had the aspect of them being in the air, of course, not being on the ground, and different techniques and different jutsus. And I thought that people should put respect on both these fighters' names. I think both of you guys are way stronger than people think at the time. Of course, Gaara would get stronger later on in the Fourth Ninja War and get his respect there. But I think honestly, both these guys deserve the utmost respect for this fight. That was, yeah, it was pretty short, but still was very entertaining. So guys, subscribe to the channel. I don't care about likes as we do a deep dive on our first official Naruto fight on this channel. Gaara versus Deidara. Now, the beginning of the fight is a lot of intelligence battle IQ involvement here, with Deidara, of course, sending out small covert op explosions. As this happens, Gaara quickly finds Deidara and says there's no such birds in the desert, showing that hometown advantage does matter. Yes, home court advantage in the playoff and in the Gaara versus Deidara fight was a thing. Now, of course, the same way home court advantage was effective, you guys all know when the road team destroys the home team, how that arena gets quiet. That's what happened towards the end of the fight. We would later see Gaara use sand prison to protect himself from the fast bird explosions that Deidara was sending out, which I thought was pretty cool. And I think this is where Gaara really gets my respect in this fight. Yes, he just became Kazekage. He had so much aura, of course, in part 1 Naruto. And he does some amazing things here with the coffin of crushing sand that takes the Deidara's arm. Now, of course, Deidara has lost his arm before. Shout out to Kakashi. But I feel like when Gaara did it, it was really cool because it was the first time we've seen Deidara's arm get taken off. Now, of course, Deidara would notice that the sand was different. And the way the sand was different, of course, was there was a lot of chakra. It was lightning fast. And he would realize he uses it for his defense. Yes, Gaara uses the sand for his defense. And there was a hole in the, of course, prison. This would lead, of course, to Deidara saying he has one attack left, Ohako. Now, of course, in the middle of this fight, we see how Gaara actually became Kazekage, telling Kankuro, his older brother, that he will join the regular troops and aim for the Kazekage because of the Naruto Talk no Jutsu. I thought it was a pretty cool element because, like, he just became Kazekage post time skip, and I think you have to have some build up in the middle of the fight because this is not your regular fight, guys. This is a Kage level fight. The first fight in Shippuden was a Kage level fight. Don't forget that, guys, just because it's Gaara and we saw him as again. And this guy's still a Kage. And of course, as a Kazekage, Gaara saves the village from the C3 Ohako explosion from Deidara. And people get into the argument here, guys. This is where the argument of the fight gets really strong when it comes to Gaara versus Deidara. Deidara, of course, uses this to attack Gaara, but his defense comes up. But Deidara planted detonation clay in his defense to use it as offense. Like, Deidara is pretty battle IQ as well. He's not like an idiot. And after the defeat, Gaara uses his last, like pretty much the last of his power to take all the sand and move it outside the village so nobody would get hurt, showing that Gaara was a Kage, guys. At the end of the day, he's not really fighting to destroy Deidara. He's fighting to protect his village, which I found interesting because we know how Gaara usually fights in the part 1. Now, Deidara would pay some respect to Gaara, saying capturing him alive was the hardest part, pretty much saying like if he had to fight him again, he would have to go for the kill or he would have to die. So showing that Gaara was not a weakling, guys. We learned also that Sasori told Deidara that Gaara was strong, and Sasori, in my opinion, at that point was the strongest sand village of all time, or strongest from the sand village of all time. And I have my reasons for that, which I'll talk about in a later video. So you guys are probably thinking, what are my thoughts on this fight? I thought overall it was a very entertaining fight, and people are gonna ask me, who do I think is stronger, Deidara or Gaara? If I'm being honest, I honestly think that Gaara probably was stronger because Gaara didn't use his Jinchuriki power. If Gaara uses Jinchuriki power, the Shukaku, that is a game changer. Secondly, not just Gaara not using the one tail power, it's Gaara having to protect the village. That's a big deal as well. Now, I'll give Deidara some respect. He wasn't trying to kill Gaara, so I do think it's an extreme difficult fight where Deidara and Gaara would be on death's door. But if I'm being honest here, Gaara had so much stipulations and he still took Deidara's arm. I honestly believe when it came to an open field, I think Gaara was able to take the edge, but he would have to use Shukaku. If Gaara decided not to use Shukaku, then Deidara is stronger in my opinion. That's my thoughts on this fight in general.